All right, students, this video is going to go over Big Ideas 6.4 homework problems. I'm going to jump down to the last problems where they gave you coordinates. All right, so this problem's a little bit different. They give you coordinates, so you're going to need to graph it. And if you're going to graph it, you're going to want to do it on actual graph paper because we'll need to be very precise with our coordinates. The other thing to notice is we're looking for centroid. So I'm going to move this over to graph paper. I'm going to transfer those numbers, and then also we need to look up what centroid means again. Okay, so again, in our online notes we put in here, the median of a triangle is at the midpoint, and that's how we find the centroid, by doing all the medians. So what I did here is I went ahead, and I'm going to switch to graph paper now. Here's the coordinates from the book, and I'm going to connect all these points. And again, as I said, it needs to be accurate because we can't just estimate where the midpoints are. We need them to be actually accurate. So the midpoint formula is not too hard to do and not too hard to remember. What you want to do is you want to take the x's and add them up and divide by 2. You're basically finding the average. And do the same thing with the y's. So what we got for A and B, let's find the midpoint of that. The x's would be 2 plus 8 divided by 2. And the y's would be 3 plus 1 divided by 2. Yeah, what I'm doing here, I'm taking the two x coordinates and adding them up and then dividing by 2. Then I'm doing the same thing with the y coordinates. Okay. 3 and 1, you got 3 and 1, and dividing by 2. So what that gives us is 2 plus 8 is 5 over 2. Sorry, 2 plus 8 is 10 over 2 is 5. And then 3 plus 1 is 4 over 2 is 2. So there's our midpoint, 5, 2. And we can see it right there. Over 5 and up 2. That's the midpoint. So what that is one of our medians. All right. Now we can find the median between here and here. And again, point C is 5, 7. And point B is 8, 1. It doesn't matter which order you do them in. That's what's nice about this midpoint thing. You add up the x's, 5 plus 8 divided by 2. And then the y's, 7 plus 1 divided by 2. So 5 plus 8 would be 13. And divided by 2 is 6.5. And this is going to be comma 4. That's going to be 7 plus 1 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So that's our other midpoint. So it goes 6.5, and then up 4. It's right around there. 6.5, comma 4. That's our other median. Now we can find the other midpoint, and you probably should, but we already know from our theorem that this is going to also go through the same point. So that's our midpoint. Okay, the problem is it's not exactly, not our midpoint. That's our centroid. That's our centroid. We connected all those midpoints and found the centroid. Okay, so that is centroid. Now, where exactly is it? Well, what we got to do now is do this thing where this distance is 2/3 of the whole thing. This is 1/3. Okay. The reason we have to do this is it's not exactly in the middle. So what we can count, though, is we can count from C, the whole distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A total distance of 5. All right. So let's call this point D here. Let's say CD is 5. The total distance is 5. Okay. Well, what CP is 2/3 of the whole thing, which is CD. Say that again. CP from C to P is 2/3 of the way. That's what we said there. CP is 2/3 of the total CD. So it's 2/3 of 5, which equals 10/3. Let's back that up. So it's 2/3 of the total. And again, the total is 5 because we counted from C down to D. So we're not done yet. 10/3 is the distance down from C. So what we got to do now is say, so C was at 5, 7. If we went down 10/3, that's what will get us to P. How do you go down 10/3? You got to do 7 minus 10/3. Say what? So let's think about this. 7 is really 21/3. 21 over 3 is 7. Minus 10/3. 21/3 minus 10/3 is 11/3. I know it's kind of a weird way to do that. But that's what we found. This 10/3 here, that's the distance downward to P. And we had to do that because if this came out as a whole number, it'd be real nice. We'd just count. But it didn't. It wasn't. So we have to use fractions and subtractions. There you go. All right. That's how you do it this way. In part 2 of this video, I will show you how to use GeoGebra to maybe save you some time, but also to verify that it's actually 5, 11/3. All right. So check that out in part 2.